We are going to start lying on the back. And as you notice, I've got my setup, bolster, blanket, 2 blocks, whatever you have, use it. And just be creative and use as much props to support our practice, especially the longer yin holds as possible. All right, so once you start to head onto your back, set yourself up. I have an intention to put my knees over that bolster, so that's where I'm headed. If you want to set yourself up in any other way, you feel free. So we're going to start on the ground. We're going to start on the earth, fully supine. And then we'll actually build our way up. We'll build our way toward the yang. And then, of course, we'll finish it all with a lovely shavasana at the end. So lie yourself back. And I'll be, checking the stream from time to time throughout our class. So if you ever need to connect with me, send me a question or write me a comment or anything like that, I will be checking in on you guys. So feel free to communicate. And Instagram, you guys know that at some point we're going to have to restart in about 50 minutes or so. And we'll just continue on to do the full 75 minutes that we always do in a yin yang class, at the least. So once you find yourself there on your back, let your toes spill out. Soften the back of your heart into the floor. Relax any clenching in your jaw. Let's notice any buzzing, any vibrancy that you feel in your body, or on the other hand, do you feel any sort of dullness anywhere that's lacking a spark? You can both calm it down and spark it up, ignite it with your conscious breath. So whichever direction your energy body needs to go, there's varying techniques in which your breath can help you. And that's the power of the breath, like the power of yin yang. It's very dynamic. It's this balance of opposites that we can use it to energize, to enliven, and we can also use it to really ground down, to calm. Just once you've allowed yourself to become unwound a bit, feel the breath traveling into your belly, and throughout your rib cage and across your heart center and your collarbones. So really letting that belly soften to protrude up and outward with the inhale, like a Buddha belly. And exhale, let your whole body sink and fall and melt until you're fully empty and the belly caves in. And you repeat the cycle. Just let it flow. Bring that nice watery quality. Remember that your breath is like its own practice or its own dance in and of itself. The breath is like the harmony when you play your body like an instrument. You stay very connected to this fluid rhythm. From the depths to the surface and back. And letting that nice watery quality And let your attention be so pulled into this mechanism, this organic process of you breathing. As your mind settles and you cultivate presence. A few more cycles, full body breath here, resting on your back. Moving the chi, the life force energy all through the body. Spring cleaning, housekeeping, instrument tuning. And next time you get to the very top of your inhale, take a few little more sips of air in and just hold that breath at the top as long as you can. Just notice what's there in that space. Now, when you're ready to exhale, you let it out to go all the way to the bottom. And you hold it in that empty space. Begin. Inhale all the way back up again. The peak of that will be your yang energy. Feel the expansion. Take it in, take it in, and hold. And when you let it out, soften your jaw, the root of your tongue, your third eye, your shoulders, your back, your hips, your legs, your feet. When you're ready, draw your knees to your chest. Give yourself a little hug. Find a little movement that feels good for a few breath cycles. And then if you have a block, it might be useful from here to grab a block and place it between your inner thighs, a little something to squeeze. Because we'll begin our twists in a little more of a pulsing fashion. So right from the beginning, we're bringing in the yang to help actually build a little bit of heat, to warm up, also to prepare the body so we can then be in the postures, really hold it for a good few minutes. So take your arms out to the sides. You can do cactus arms or full extension if you've got the space for that. And lift your feet up. Squeeze the block and feel your sacrum in the mat. Inhale. And exhale. Draw the knees over to the right, hovering off the floor. A little bit more of an anchor into that right arm and hand. Keep the left shoulder grounded. Inhale, draw up through the center. And exhale to the left. Now anchor strong into that left arm and hand. Keep the right shoulder plugged down. Squeeze your block. Inhale, center. Engage some strength. Exhale, right. As you do this work, pulsing your twist side to side on your back. And just because you're using strength, you're tapping into that yang, that bit of more fire, solar energy. Just do it with a gentle approach because you know this is Sunday evening yin, yang. So you can really work that yang aspect. Maybe 50%, maybe 70%. You know you've got some energy to burn right now. Maybe you put 90% strength in it. But you can really determine, just based on how you feel, follow your intuition, and go with the flow in the moment. Sometimes you gotta get there to really know. And then, generally speaking, when we shift from the yang to the yin, we're going passive. So we let the muscles take a back seat. And we go more for that passive stretch of the body's fascia and connective tissues. Which is right where we're going here after this last twist. So you're going to let it come to the right and then hold. And there's lots of options as you settle in. So you could always stay here with the block if it feels good. Or you can take it out and just keep it simple and easy. Or put the block underneath the bottom thigh so you get a little bit of prop. You can do your twisted roots variation. Left thigh wrapped over the right. Lower that down. Maybe you have a block underneath to support. Maybe a blanket, because that's more cushiony and just feels nicer for a lot of these postures. And then any other variation that you can imagine, feel free to work here. Options are infinite. So you could just take one leg over, maybe do your cat chasing its tail version where you reach for the bottom foot. And see where it feels comfortable, just to let the back of your head rest into the mat. Or to take the twist into the neck, so you would gaze off to the left. Just imagine here that you're nice and passively wringing out your internal organs. Rinsing out that right kidney, a little compression to the left. Melting the shoulders into the mat. As you breathe fully into the tops of the lungs, right under the collarbones. When you start to really settle into the posture after a minute or two, just notice where your mind goes. Be the ultimate observer, sitting in the back of the mind, watching what plays out in front of you. So that little bit of distance might give you a little more sensitivity or a little bit of objectivity. Although never will we be 100% objective, right? We're always going to be subjective in our own personal experience, but we aim for that objectivity. We try to merge our personal with the universal, reach that higher consciousness. So you just notice, you just feel, and you just breathe. And repeat. And that's the practice. If you can stay committed to that practice, your presence, you will learn a lot about yourself. You will strengthen that bond with your own self. Know yourself. Love yourself by giving yourself that time and space. To notice, to feel, to breathe, to release. Go ahead and come on out of the twist on that side. And pause in the center. Take a little bit of time to repose. You can really you can sort of just let your body fall naturally into the place that it wants to go. Little to no effort. Let yourself be in a nice balanced place where the right and the left side are pretty even. And you can just really assess how you feel coming out of that one side on the twist. Notice the difference, right to left. Notice the vibrancy on one side, the dullness on the other. And when you're ready, switch it out. So any way you want to twist, over to the left. Incorporate whichever props help support you to relax into the pose as best as possible. So I'm demoing here twisted roots variation, which is like the eagle wrap of the legs. If you feel a little bit swirly at the start, just know that that's normal, and just like figuring it out, so many options. Eventually you're going to use that calming, watery, fluid quality of your breath. And hopefully the soundtrack of our practice today is also assisting you with that passive softening into the pose. And it's helpful to scan the body. Just notice where you might be gripping. Just check in with those usual spots that you know you tend to tense or overexert. Let go. Breathe into all those little inner spaces. Every little nook and cranny of your body is a house. tuning every little string of your instrument. Go all the way up and down the scale. Let your breath be that harmony that ties it all together. Take a few more deep breaths. Slow unwind to find center, repose. The equilibrium, the yin-yang. Left and right complete. Let's take a couple more deep breaths to integrate it. And then grab your block again so you can squeeze it between your inner thighs. Bringing your feet hips width with your heels rather close to your butt so that your ankles are going to be underneath your knees. So again, we're tapping back into some yang, which is also really nice and helpful after you've done a long static held yin posture. The yang is really great for flushing out whatever's been kind of dug up and brought to the surface in the long hold. The yang, that kind of more active energy with your breath, helps to disperse, move it out. So that's what we're going to aiming for here. Bring your elbows down at the sides of your ribs so your fingertips are up like little robot arms, and then roll your shoulders underneath you. Puff up your chest, nice open heart, and then just be mindful that you've got some space between there and your chin and the back of your head grounded. Anchor into your big toe ball mounds, all the way to the opposite diagonal outer heel. And then the pinky toe ball mounds, opposite diagonal inner heel. And now take your palms down to the mat. And inhale, squeeze the block, lift the hips, lift the spine. Get your shoulders to wrap under a little extra. Feel the muscle tone all through your low body, your hips, your legs. Even create a little lift through the low belly. And while it receives some stretch, it's supportive, a bit of engagement. And then exhale, release your hips down. So rather than rolling from your spine, lower your butt. So you're not undoing that back bend. You're rather just taking a little pause to then come right back up and in on the inhale. Squeeze, lift. Anchor into those cross-reference points in the feet. And then lower the booty so you're keeping that semblance of back bend as you lower to the mat. And the center of your chest is like a big radiating sun. Inhale up. Exhale, release the hips. Keep that radiating sun very present in your chest, right at the heart. Pulse twice more. Remember, you're fluid, like water. Like a little stream or a brook or a creek. So again, you're moderating that yang energy, so it's not like a waterfall or a big churning ocean. It's got a bit of a softer quality. All right, next time you're up there in your bridge, just hold. If you want to go for a little extra, grab the outside edges of your mat with your hands. Or bring your hands to bind underneath you. So you get a little extra wrap. Again, to help you sustain your bridge pose. But you're definitely feeling that active muscle energy here. So squeeze, lift, and it's gonna all be worth it. Because this is going to prep you to then settle in with a full supported bridge. Take another deep inhale. And then release your hands if they're bound, and exhale, lower your hips. So again, you're maintaining that semblance of back bend, open heart, which really helps to propel you forward in time and space, right? Beginnings, spring. To create, we must be willing to move forward with our whole hearts. Okay, whenever you're ready, come on up for the supported variation. You can rock a block or two, a bolster, a blanket, up to you. Just do a couple to few minutes. And then you can let your upper body soften a little bit more into the mat. So it's like easy does it. If you have the space to extend your legs forward, you can play with that variation, which gets more into the frontal hips. And you can also work this as a legs up variation. Taking advantage of the effect of gravity to drain whatever's in your feet all the way down through your legs to your hips and up to your heart, your head, out into the earth behind you. You can explore alternate expressions since we're in the passive version now. You want to play with some turning out of the feet or turning in, or other ways of positioning your limbs. And your arms might go up, over, and back to open further the tops of the lungs. Open up the sides of the ribs. One more stretch with internal organs. So use your wisdom and your awareness to put yourself right where you know you need to be. Keep taking those nice deep breaths. Let's just check in on y'all. Cool. Whenever you feel ready to come out of the bridge, and bring your feet back to the earth. And take that repose, whether you're on your back or if you're craving to do it in a more of like a counter stretch. You can hop on up and head into child's pose or embryo pose on your knees with your head down and your back rounded toward the earth. Or you can just take a seat. It's also a nice neutral position. Excellent for any repose. Opportunity to reflect, introspect, to contemplate, to be that observer. Notice the energy present in you. Does it have a little more of a yin flavor? Does it have more of a yang flavor? There's a balance or a good proportion. That feels just right. Couple more deep breaths. Good, so that was about 35 minutes or so that we spent on the back. So like I said, we were going to really start with the yin and then kind of build it up to the yang, which is like maybe a little bit of a reverse order from what seems sensical, but that's the cool thing about yin yang, you know, you could really flip it both ways and it works. So it's fun to try all the differing ways of getting there. So come onto tabletop on your hands and your knees. And move that energy. Inhale, round your back up to cat. Exhale, arch into cow. And then take it for an exploration, which means you can really do this any way you like. Pulsing forward, back in space, perhaps incorporating some more spherical or circular movements, maybe some waves. Maybe it's just an improv movement that feels good. Maybe a hand is flipped or both hands are flipped. Palm down or palms up. And truly, you don't even have to think about it too much. You can just let it be that really organic inspiration that comes with spring. That comes when there's that nice balance of yin and yang. And then when you're ready, come back to table. So normally I would give you options from here to take child's pose or puppy pose, but I'm going to say everybody come into downward facing dog. So toes tucked, Walk your hands a little bit forward. Make sure your hands are truly shoulder width distance apart. So you can turn them in, meet the tips of the middle fingers, and then pivot on that inner wrist point until your wrists are parallel to the top edge of the mat. You've got a nice little bit of spread through the fingers. Hips up. Take it for a walk. Wag the tail. And use your strength, use your energy to really be here in your dog for a little bit. And at the very least, you can be here for as long as you can be here. And then if you know you need to take it down, to find the earth with your chest, your knees, hips high like puppy or down and back like child's. Take that when you need it, if you need it. Otherwise, you can stay here in a dog. So put your weight in the balls of the hands, the balls of the feet, and frame your ears with your upper arms. Draw your ribs in so you're not disconnecting from your core line. And send your tail up and back. Get nice and long through your low spine. Feel a nice lift through the center of the armpits, the center of the palms. Broaden the chest, the upper back. Ooh, a few more breaths. And then step either foot forward, doesn't matter too much because you're just going to pivot yourself into a wide stance from there. So be wide enough that you can soften through your knees and then really let yourself hang. So let it hang like a wide-legged dangle posture. Okay. So this is going to be where we start to really incorporate that kind of like Qigong movement that I was referencing in the beginning of class. So your yin and yang are really coming together here. And I will guide you through it. And there will be some rounds happening to be able to kind of like go at your own pace, do your own thing, find that creative flow as we really get into it. So first, just let your arms hang down. And if you're like me with long limbs and just pretty flexible, you might want to even bring your feet a little closer together so there's just more space for you to hang down. And you're going to let your body sway. And imagine you're like an elephant. So your feet are really heavy. And your arms are like the elephant trunk. It's going from side to side, getting some feedback from the environment. Let it dangle, sway. Light stomp of those elephant feet. Remember Ganesha, sturdy, heavy, yet graceful. A few more times. Hang in center, and then bend your knees to roll up. And take a couple deep breaths at the top. Here we are. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, spin your toes out, your heels in. Bend through your knees. Horse. And push the palms from your heart out to the sides. Feel that power stance for a full breath. On your inhale, pivot your heels back. Send your arms back behind you like birdie wings. And then dive down. Drinking bird. Let your arms release and hang, kind of like the elephant trunk again. And roll yourself up. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, pivot your feet out. Bend your knees to the horse stance. Palms together at the heart, and then press out. Pivot your feet back to parallel. Wings back, dive, drinking bird. Release the arms to roll up the spine, articulating each vertebra. Three more cycles. Follow your inhale up. Exhale, toes out, heels in. Horse. Press. Out to the horizon. Feel those steady roots. And maintain them as you pivot. Send the wings back, the heart forward. Little birdie diving down to drink from the pond. Roll up. This is truly our yin yang. 2 more times to flow. Follow the breath. Those feet be mobile. That yang teaches us we're never stuck, always changing. And the yin teaches us to soften into and to receive and accept that. Nature of change, of flow, adaptability to what is. Like water taking the shape of its container. And then from here, bring your hands down so you're still in the wide angle dangle. Wide angle dangle, I like that rhyme. Can't believe I never thought of that before. Lengthen your spine forward, and you feel free to use blocks underneath here if you want some extra support for your joints. Turn your toes out, and go from side to side, and into one knee, and into the other. Easy does it. Side to side. Just get a little more hydration for all those tissues there. The lower back and the hips. And the inner thighs. One more set, side to side. And come to center. Turn your feet back into parallel and fold forward. Dangle. Bring your hands to your hips and inhale, rise up. Take a full breath. Pivot your right toes forward and lift your back heel up to pivot yourself around so you're in a lunge. Send the arms up. So remember, we're going to work this not like a power vinyasa flow, okay? Qi Gong it. Let it be very fluid, watery. You can soften the edges, the boundaries a little bit. So don't be too hyper-focused on your alignment. Think more about just intuitively going with the flow of the breath, of the movements, really harmonizing it all as well in your mind. So reach. Start to shift yourself forward. Those wings go back again like we did in the drinking bird. Now bring your weight onto that front foot and start to send your leg back behind you. Keep a nice juicy bend in that standing knee. And then come back to the lunge. Open up through that horse stance. And then rotate it to the other side. Take your time to find it. There's that soft, fluid quality, even as you engage some strength, some yang energy. You catch grace at the same time. Shift forward, arms back like wings. Bring your weight onto that front left foot. And lift the back leg. You have more of a nice juicy bend on that standing knee to really help you stay atop yourself. And then slowly back to the lunge. Open it back out to the horse. 2 more full rounds, both sides. So you're going to take it out of rhythm that feels good for you. And if you want to play with any other arm variation, you could rock it more like in a warrior 3. Just see if you can really keep the connection. Pose to pose, transition to pose, pose to transition, transition to transition. And just stay with the breath. It's going to really help you keep your body at ease as you work to maintain this flow. Keep the current of energy going. So I'm never really going to like 100% muscle engagement. Okay, just for good measure, we're going to do one more round. Just really trying to find that nice Qigong quality. Keep in the flow. No break in the harmony. Next time you get to horse, hold. Make sure you're even on both sides. Back to drinking bird. Pivot the feet forward, arms back, and fold. And then let your hands come down from there into blocks. We'll grab opposite elbows. You can work your elephant trunk, hang and sway again. You can bring your hands to hold your lower legs or ankles. So many options. Thanks, Eric James. Ooh, look at the time. It's time to restart Instagram. Glad I came over. So I'm going to restart and we can hop back on for our last 20 minutes or so of practice. Okay, we're back. Woo, that was a lot. I'm going to open my window. So we're in that dangle. Start to bring your feet together, closer. Maintain hips width distance. Keep your knees nice and soft. And then your next inhale, lengthen your spine forward to halfway lift. Extend the spine. Exhale to fold forward. Somehow she knows that I'm filming, and that if she goes right there, she'll be in perfect view for you all. Just cracks me up, that little kitty head. Twice more. Inhale, half lift. We're still in a bit of yang here. Find that nice little squeeze of your muscles to your bones, thighs internally wrap, collarbones broaden out, ribs pull in to help keep your connection at the center line, even as you send your heart forward. Exhale, fold. And then last time, inhale, half lift. Come all the way up from there, sweeping your arms out to the sides. And up. Exhale, mountain. Take a full breath. And you start to really wind this down. Back to the yin. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale to fold forward. Inhale, extend your spine to the half lift. Exhale, hang it forward. And then lower to hands and knees. Tabletop. Take a breath. Bring your heart down to the mat, and then from there, your arms stretched forward. Or middle, you can put your block underneath your heart, underneath your head, as you come down into the puppy, the melting heart asana. So it doesn't really matter if you want to keep the 90-degree angle here at your knees, or if you want to let your legs come forward a little bit so you can soften your chest more down to the mat, maybe even have your chin on the mat. That's an option too. So what's your intention? Let that inform where you go. You can even still play with that chin placement to open the throat when you're on blocks as well. You can use a bolster for this function. You can feel your lungs breathing into your prop, into the mat. Take your time when you feel ready to come out and then pick your repose, whatever you like, to chill for a good few moments. Maybe in a seat, maybe resting in child's pose, on your belly or on your back. Truly up to you. Wherever you landed for your repose, do that nice little scan. Observe, feel, breathe, notice. Check in with that inner radiance. Feel that you've cleared away some of the cobwebs. But now there's more brightness from the inside. Perhaps you feel that your outer casing is a little less rigid, more hydrated. So we're going to get a bit into the hips from here to finish off. So I just had the idea in my mind that I want to use a wall. So if you have a wall available, awesome. If not, it's okay. You don't necessarily have to use it. But we will be in the ankle to knee shape or the figure 4 shape. You notice thread the needle. And you're going to really do this from a more yin approach. So really let it be relaxed and soft. So you don't have to overflex your ankle or anything like that. You could be here, you could be here. Now if you're incorporating this at the wall, this free left foot is going to be at the boundary of the wall. So just shift yourself. Like so. And you can use your right hand here to hold the boundary there for your thigh, or you can use a block, same purpose. And you can also approach the wall, or where the wall meets the floor with your butt, like legs up the wall pose, but you just keep your right leg like this, so you're still getting a nice hip stretch. So if you want to try that, you're just going to have to wiggle yourself up a little bit more to the wall. And I'd say maybe come out of the shape a little bit and then scoot yourself to however close you want to be. And then just notice that adds a different flavor. A few more breaths on this side. And then come to a more neutral, symmetrical pose. So you can be in a repose for a few. Other side when you're ready. You could be in the variation that I'm in, or you could be further away from the wall with a 90-degree bend at that right knee and the foot flat. Or you could just be on your back, on your mat. Any other hip stretch you like for that matter. So I use the block here just to help hold the boundary for the leg. So I don't fall out of the pose. That's just the nature of my body. You might not really feel like you need it. Maybe your structure just holds it all together without you needing a block. Or you could always use your hand. Just notice what's stirring. Notice what's churning. Notice what's bubbling. Take a really nice deep breath into it. Sometimes the way that is it takes you the whole duration of the posture to finally find that place where you can really let go. And sometimes it's just the way it is. So just knowing that we've got a few more breaths here, soak it up. Anything else you could possibly let go of in these next couple breaths, final few moments. Even if you just feel like you arrived, can you appreciate? You need to stay a little longer, you're free to, or you can come into your repose. Okay, I'm going to guide you guys into one last posture, and that'll send you on your way. So this could be your final resting pose, actually. Or you can shift from this into lying flat on your back for Shavasana. And I'll let you know it's time. So we're finishing lying on the back with a bolster or a rolled up blanket or whatever you got at home underneath your spine so that you have a nice open heart. And if you have a blanket, you can incorporate that on top of your bolster. Sometimes it's nice to just have your head slightly more elevated so you can get lots of nice support in your neck. So I'm going to do this in butterfly variation with the knees out and the feet together, just for a little more hip and inner thigh release. But you could also do it with long legs like corpse pose, if you prefer. You could also do it in saddle with your shins and your feet back, like a hero posture. So with the sacrum all the way up to the edge of the bolster, I put these guys underneath the thighs because that works well for me in butterfly. Lie back. Make any little micro or macro adjustments that you need. So, a little bit of a shift can make a huge difference in how it feels and how it all works together. Rest your hands wherever it's comfortable. And again, just notice the little fidgets that need to present themselves. Just little wavers, vacillations, ups and downs, fluctuations, just like thoughts in the mind, emotions. Fleeting. Eventually, if you set up the right conditions, they can settle. And then you can notice when they start to bubble up again. And recede.